everyone, welcome back to the Rugby League History channel. Today on the channel I'll be doing my tips and predictions for round 16 of the 2025 NRL season. Last week I got one incorrect, so all the others were correct. Let's see if we can get a perfect round this week. And the first match to kick us off is on Friday. This one's between West Tigers and Canberra. This one's being played at Campbelltown Sports Ground. Canberra are sat second on the table at the moment, West Tigers in 13th position on the table. Canberra's record at Campbelltown is alright. They've played 24 matches there, 10 wins and 14 losses. For this match, with the State of Origin being held on Wednesday, I think Jerome Luai is, even though he'll probably be named, I doubt that he'll play because after the match finishes on Wednesday, it's a 5 or 6 hour flight from Perth back to Sydney, and then the recovery time and that he might not play. As for Canberra, they've only got Hudson Young, I think, who were picked for State of Origin this year. With how the teams have been going this year, I don't see a world where West Tigers can win this one. So I'm going to go for Canberra to win this game by 13 plus. The first match on Super Saturdays between New Zealand and Penrith. This one's being played at Mount Smart Stadium in Auckland. New Zealand are currently sat third on the table at the moment and Penrith in 9th on the table. Penrith's record at Mount Smart Stadium is actually pretty good. One of the better travelling teams there. They've played 20 matches there since 1995. 10 wins and 10 losses, so pretty good for Penrith. However, for this match, a lot of their players will be backing up from State of Origin, and I don't think any of them would be named realistically. Because obviously, as I mentioned earlier, the distance from Perth to Auckland for the flight and then the recovery time and the days between the games, I think it's going to be unrealistic for any of them to back up. And I think New Zealand's only got, well, they've got nobody selected for State of Origin now because Mitch Barnett's out. So I think New Zealand's going to win this game. I think they're going to win it well. I'm going to go New Zealand to win by 13 plus. The next match on Super Saturday is between Redcliffe and Newcastle. This one's being played at HBF Park in Perth. With this fixture between these two clubs, Redcliffe's only beaten Newcastle once since they come into the league. The other 4 occasions, Newcastle's come out victorious. Redcliffe have played in Perth before at the same venue and they lost in a very high scoring match against Sydney Roosters last time out. Whereas Newcastle, they've never played at HBF Park in their history. Redcliffe are on fire at the moment. They recorded a club record victory over St George the other week, and then the week after against North Queensland they bettered that, and Jack Boscott got 4 tries in that game against North Queensland where they won by a great score. With Newcastle, very disappointing once again. Normal service resumes for them. They really struggled against the second string Sydney Roosters side and couldn't get the job done there. Things are looking pretty bleak at Newcastle at the moment. I know they'll be desperate for a win, but look, I don't really see a world where they're going to trouble Redcliffe, especially the way that they're playing at the moment. So I'm going to go for Redcliffe to win this match by 13 plus. Third match on Super Saturday is between South Sydney and Melbourne. This one's being played at Stadium Australia. With this fixture between these two clubs, Melbourne has dominated it since 1998. They've played 42 times, these two clubs, and Melbourne's won 35 of those, so not good reading from a South Sydney perspective. Last time out, South Sydney were not very good against Canterbury until the rain came down and they managed to get some late tries to claw their way back against Canterbury Bankstown. With Melbourne, they're comfortably sat in the finals places, and I think a few of their players from State of Origin will be backing up for this game. I think with South Sydney, likewise, 1 or 2 of their players, I think Latrell Mitchell will be backing up as well. But I will go for Melbourne to win this one. I mean, I'd love to see South win, but I'll go for Melbourne to win this game by 112 points. First match on Sunday is between Brisbane and Cronulla Sutherland. This one's being played at Suncorp. Brisbane have dominated the head-to-head in recent times. They've won 7 of the last 10 matches against Cronulla. Last round, Brisbane had the bye. With Cronulla, they had a come-from-behind victory over their arch-rivals St George. At half-time, things were looking bleak for Cronulla. They were staring down the barrel of a 3rd straight loss. And in the comment section after the game, I said Craig Fitzgibbon would be you would have been a bit nervous, you know what I mean, because they conceded 40 points against the second string East side and 40 points at home against New Zealand, and they were losing against St George, who got battered themselves the week before. And one of the Cronulla fans was going, "Oh, you don't know anything, and we're going just fine, and stick to netball and all this caper." And I'm thinking, maybe that's the reason why Cronulla only have one premiership in their history, because fans like that set the bar really low. That's just my own personal opinion. Who do I think is going to win the game though? Brisbane, they're off the bye, and the week before that they had a morale boost and win. Cronulla, to me, I don't know, I don't think that they're playing well at the moment, Cronulla. And they've been found out a bit this year as well. So, look, I'm going to go for Brisbane to win this one. I'm going to go for the home side. I'm going to go for Brisbane to win by 1 to 12 points. And the second match on Sunday is between East and North Queensland. This one's being played at the new SFS. In recent times, in the last 10 meetings, the head-to-head's pretty even. Sydney Roosters have got 6 wins, North Queensland have got 4. North Queensland have played 2 matches at the new Sydney Football Stadium. They've had 1 win and 1 loss. The last time they played there were the elimination final against Cronulla last year. And for this match, I mean, I'm pretty sure North Queensland would have been embarrassed and very disappointed with their display last week against Redcliffe. They're the latest club this year to join the 50 club, which means that they can't win the premiership if you follow that 50-point rule. With East, they had a gritty win over Newcastle. I knew that they would probably win. I knew that they could do it. They've had a few wins like that this year where they've been down on players and they still perform. For this one, I think North Queensland will be much improved against East. I mean, they have to be after that display against Redcliffe, but I'll go for East to win this game by 1 to 12 points. And the final match to close out the round is between Parramatta and Gold Coast. This one's being played at Western Sydney Stadium. Both of these sides have got 13 wins against each other. There's been 26 matches in the history of Parramatta and the Gold Coast. Well, this incarnation of the Gold Coast anyway. With the Gold Coast, they've never won at Western Sydney Stadium yet. Never won a match there, so could this be when it finally happens? With Parramatta, once again, 3rd year in a row, the club's been fucked over by the injury to Mitchell Moses. I said before the State of Origin started that I didn't want him picked for State of Origin, and when he got picked I kind of went, why? He's only played 2 matches. He had a good return match, and then the next one were kind of half and half, and I went, please don't get injured during Origin, because this will be, 3rd year in a row, and it happened again. He's out for fucking 6 weeks. So, not happy. And on top of that, Dylan Brown's out for a 1-match suspension for touching the referee, so both the halves are not going to be there, which is a major blow for the club. But in saying that, last time out when Moses weren't there, Hawkins stepped in at half-back and he provided 4 try assists, and he was really good against Manly. So who knows? One thing I think, if you're a Parramatta supporter, that'll give you a bit of hope is that the Gold Coast can't defend, even though that they kept Manly to 8 points. 9 times this year they've conceded more than 24 points in a game. So I think if Parramatta can get some good field position, get some possession with the ball, throw it around a bit, I think they definitely can score some points against the Gold Coast. With the Gold Coast, however, I think for Parramatta they have to watch out for that Corn Pereira and a couple of the other outside backs for them, because at times Parramatta's looked a bit thin when it comes to the edges and things like that. But this is going to be, in any other year, usually people would say this is like a preview for the Spoon Bowl, but because there's other teams that are so close to them on the table, like Newcastle, the media's not really talking about it as a Spoon Bowl game. But I don't know, if Moses and Brown were there, I'd probably lean towards Parramatta. But for this one, I have a feeling that the Gold Coast are going to win. They're going to win by 1 to 12 points. I think the next couple of weeks are going to be difficult for Parramatta without Mitchell Moses, because he's their X-Factor player and he's the most important player in their side. So that concludes my tipping video for round 16 of the 2025 NRL season. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, let me know in the comment section below and let me know who you're tipping in the margins. Thanks to everyone that tuned in last week and watched the tipping video, it's much appreciated. Anyway, this has been Rugby League history, and I will catch us all later in the next one. Alright, ta-ra for now.